archaeologists. I'm the Johnstruct. Welcome to the proximity. I am having Forgotten City adventure. I'm gonna press a button. I was gonna see if I could press a button on the controller. I can. Lovely. This is a game. I've watched reviews of this game when it came out. And they're all kind of quite careful not to show spoilers. You can even see like a disclaimer over there warning about spoilers because the mysteries abound within. But I don't actually really know what it is other than it's set in Rome with like golden Roman statues or something. We'll find out. It's supposed to be good, which is obviously why I've chosen this as my Tuesday, Monday muddle and mystery adventure. See right there. So we'll be playing this tomorrow as well, assuming I don't hate it. Right, if I hate it, then I'm just going to stop. But I would be kind of surprised if that was the case. Let's put that away and actually start the game. But yes, I've got to make a mental note. I should put a spoiler warning from Beyond the White Hallway. I don't know what that is. Let's find out what that is. This game was developed by a core team of 3 people over 4 years. Your support allows us to continue doing what we love. We're deeply grateful. It's a mystery adventure with multiple endings, rewards thoughtful conversation and exploration, not brute force. Fate of the city is in your hands. There we go, that's what the game's about. It's present day. I know. Been present day all day.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Okay, sorry, 1 second. This was supposed to be a bottle of Pepsi. I forgot to fizz it up, and I just had a very horrible experience going, hey, what the fuck's that? Give me a second, let me... you're not supposed to fizz it up after, like, putting the Coke in there. I feel like it's going to explode the machine, but I'm going to try. Sorry, 1 second. I would do it on camera, but, like, that would be dangerous. But I will be right back. I think I managed to get it. It still has fizz in it. Wonderful. Hopefully I've not destroyed the machine. You're only supposed to put water in it because it gunks it up. But more importantly, well actually that was the most important thing. If you take it immediately out after fizzing it, it'll go everywhere and you'll lose all your Coke and you have to clean everything. Anyway, let's choose our body type. I don't suppose it really matters in this game, but I guess we'll go for this one here. Sure, why not? We will go for Proximus because of the Roman theme.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Okay, then make sure... hello Craig, by the way. It's said in the intro, I don't know if you were there for that, be wary of spoilers beyond the white hall or something like that. So I'll try and keep it... I've already forgotten the exact name of the thing. I think you play it a few times as well, though. This is a mod, right? What was I doing? What was the last thing I remember? Well, I barely remember anything. Oh, actually, it gives me stuff, so... well, there are archaeologists. Years of studying give you occasional insights into the ancient world. You have military-based firearm, but only 10 bullets. You'll have to use them judiciously. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I was on the run for law. Your time on the run. Authorities made you quick on your feet, and you're 25% faster when sprinting. Recent head trauma has increased your brain threshold. 50% harder to take down. I kind of like the idea of being 25% faster, but also, let's go for the archaeologist. I think that's thematically appropriate for my channel.
Oh, you're an archaeologist?
No archaeologist.
Then you'll definitely want to hear this. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him. If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
Yes, I will do that. I'll totally do this. So I was reminded of the best joke in the Carry On series. It's fun. I was talking to my father the other day about not the Carry On series, but about Monty Python. And Monty Python was relevant for fucking years. Like some TV program. Like think of Friends. Think of how like that is like securely trapped in like the 90s and a bit into the 2000s, and then it just dropped off the earth. Like it was no longer relevant. And yeah, like Monty Python's not been relevant for like decades, but it was relevant for fucking ages. But another thing that happened to, and obviously old things stay relevant for much longer, right? Because now we have how the internet works, we have so much stuff. But the Carry On series doesn't even have the sort of, people will still watch Monty Python, right? But I don't think anyone's going to go back and watch Monty Python, I don't think anyone's going to go back and watch the Carry On films because of, like, I think that humour is just dead. However, I will tell you the best joke in the Carry On movies, which is about, it's in Rome, hence it being relevant right now. It's Cleopatra and Anthony, I think. And it's infamy, they've all got it in for me. There we go. That is literally the best joke in the series. If you didn't find that funny, wouldn't recommend the series, to be honest. Also, I wouldn't really recommend the series. Unless you happen to be, unless you've somehow not seen 70 years worth of modern television program. Anyway, mind if I ask some questions first?
Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
It's the style of humour was out of date literally 30 years ago, I think. I just like that pun because it's a pun based on historical information, and it's performed quite well. I need to know everything, don't I? What's your story?
Oh, there's not much to tell.
Yeah.
Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job.
Monty Python arguably,
know what I mean?
Invented quite a lot of what we consider modern humour, right? I think it's a part of the whole alternative comedy, which is I think let's think of the Fast Show, because I watched, I think it was 10 years ago. I bought the DVD block set for the Fast Show, which if you're not British, you probably won't know. But the Fast Show, the gimmick of the Fast Show was all of its sketches were quote unquote fast. They were only a few minutes each, and that's incredibly quaint. Because of even Monty Python, if you watch Monty Python sketches, watch a famous one. Watch Nobody Expects the Grand Inquisition. Watch that. That goes on for 3 minutes too long, that sketch. There is a peak of that sketch. It's good. And then it's just fucking about for 3 minutes, with jokes that just aren't as good. And all that's all their sketches, because quite a lot of sketch comedy was just long for some reason. You just dwelt in the area for a very long time. I know SNL is still that, but they're doing it live. I get they're doing weekly work. It's gonna be lots of all sketch comedy is hit and miss, but like if you're doing it that much, that is like there's gonna be a lot of misses. Anyway, I don't want to disparage SNL. I am British, so like I care less about it. But obviously, I've seen the Blues Brothers. I've seen Ghostbusters. Like the good stuff has come out of it, but like just I never you know I would never really to actually watch one of those shows because anyway what's the point? Let's play this game. Yeah, multiplayer is better than the Carry On series by like quite a large margin. You're not even gonna tell me your name?
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Well, I'd really like to know, especially if I'm gonna be helping you.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey. It's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
My name is Slutty Bartfast. Okay, I wasn't expecting Karen memes to be relevant. I watched it recently. There's a whole bit about like holding a rack on someone while she had to try and like torture herself. And it just goes on for a little bit too long. Hang on, why is the writing not on the screen? Not that. That's gonna like make some of this conversation feel really difficult to read if anyone watches this in the future. Why didn't you want to tell me your name?
Look, if you really want to know all the tragic details, perhaps I can fill you in after you find Al?
I will say, it is weird for a game that is about historical Rome to immediately date itself using Karen memes. Like, my dad's not, like, okay, my dad's never going to play this anyway, but, like, he's not going to know what the fucking Karen meme is. Who is Al?
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
Where are we?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber.
Then that makes sense of Rome. What can you tell me about the ruins?
Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
Have you tried calling for help?
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
Really? Outside the ruins of Rome? Will they be crawling with tourists? That's all the questions I had. Apparently.
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
Right, I'm in.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
So, with the, ooh, a flashlight. Yep, it's definitely a flashlight. Yeah, this is definitely a Skyrim mod. Woo! Quid pro quo. Bit of Latin there. This feels like a tiny bit like the start of Firmament. Not Firmament. I've not played Firmament, despite the fact that I kickstarted it. I mean the Mist game before that. Fuck, what's it called? A little bit of slow down there. I accidentally looked where things were. I tell you what, I might want to just turn the settings down. I think I put them up because. Yeah, I put everything on Epic, and I guess don't do that, John. I've got like a ray tracing cable card. You'd think I'd be able to play a Skyrim game on full graphics, but maybe I can't. Here we go. we'll play with that later, but obviously I don't want to faff around with graphics. Oh yeah, so with the Muddle and Mystery, I need to make one of these for the Muddle and Mysteries. The thing is, there's less of a link between them. I'm not going through the years or anything. Maybe I should have. But I'd like to make a wall anyway. Just have to remember all the Muddle and Mysteries. Luckily, I do keep these. But I realised I'd only been playing old games, and there are a lot of... They don't make games as much in this vein anymore. But I thought, you know what? If I own the game, I should use it, you know, I should just be playing them. So there's a couple. We'll go back. This particular next game is an older game again. Might even be able to tell what it is. But we'll kind of jump back and forth between old and new if I can. Like Lorelei and the Laser Eye, arguably should have been a Muddle and Mystery game, but you know, I also wanted to mix up the list of games to play. I've turned up the FOV slightly because I get simulation sickness, and that will make it very difficult to play this game. Yeah, specifically when it does that, that's probably not going to be great for me. See though. Alice, note.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise.
Ooh.
The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out.
You know what would be a great...
If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation.
The other side of where?
Or a warning.
You know what would be a great game? Alworth. We'll have a look around here very quickly. What's it called? Quantum Leap. Where you have to jump into the bodies of people and, I don't know, make sure they don't die, isn't it? Or something like that. It's been a while since I've watched Quantum Leap. I know they tried remaking it, but, you know, that would work in an engine like this, surely. Backpack full of worn hiking clothes and empty food packets. Nothing valuable here, but still, it seems strange that Al left it behind. Right, but it's not mine, so I shan't steal it. Okay, well, he's not in here. Right, fine. Well, considering I already know about what that is. Yeah, that's... Oop. Ah! Yeah, underwater now. You can't tell, but if I jump over there... Oh. If I think, yeah, it's got a meter for when I'm underwater. I found the entrance to the secret city. But I mean, they were good Telltale games. Those Monkey Island games were Telltale games. Gold. I'm Proximus. Oh, hang on. I have a torch. Flashlight if you prefer. Ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. I am, of course, speaking of out of date. That was, what are those films called? They were parodying James Bond movies, but again, it's been so long that James Bond movies aren't like that anymore, so the parodies don't necessarily make any sense anymore. But Goldfinger does painstakingly kill people who've got by pouring gold on them, if I remember correctly. Young Roman woman in a pose of lamentation. God, it's been ages since I've seen Goldfinger. That's the one with the laser, which is like, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. But I'm going to walk out this room now. I'm not going to watch or anything. This is the little coin trick the laser gets out. What's funny about the James Bond series is it has loads of like weird scientific inaccuracies in it and racism, which is less funny, I won't lie. But like quite a lot of old books set in the real world, because it's not real, right? It's not. But he had to guess, and there's lots of like gadgets and stuff. But sometimes I think it was that he thought your skin needed to breathe, so you die if your entire skin was covered. Sure, you'd definitely die if your mouth was covered, obviously. But, that's all I remember of Goldfinger. Hang on. Is Goldfinger... I am playing this as well, by the way. I'm just using the opportunity. I've not been streaming all... I took the day off work and didn't stream until after 6 anyway. I'm kind of annoyed with myself. You can see I actually have energy for it. I'm going to talk. Is that the one with Fort Knox in? That would make sense. Which means it would have Oddjob in. Roman gladiator, mid-stride. What could have made a gladiator flee? I don't know, some monster turning him into gold. Expect. See, I might be confusing with the man with the golden gun. Scaramanga. We could just push it open. Don't know what that means. Assume it's Latin. I've hit a loading screen. Can I save? I can save. Let's do that. Young woman, it looks like she was begging for her life. Oh, I'm sorry. Ah. I want to write that down, John. F5, F9. Why would it be telling me these scum save rules? A Roman military commander attempting to scramble away from something. And of course, I've been playing the East series, which has the Romans in as well. Legionary. State of terror. It could do with being a little bit hotter. That's my fault, but that's a good. It's a spicy meatball. That is to say, I made it not too strong. I can really taste the biscuit. It's biscuit flavored tea. Why I said that? Otherwise, it would have been insane for me to do that. Just to be praying, hope they never came. No, I'm sorry. Ah, that's fine. You're already dead, John. Hang on. Ah, my control. Hopefully, I need to get new batteries. These are shit. I guess they don't last forever. But then again, who does? No, it's. I was trying to do a Blade Runner reference for some reason. I'm not sure why, and I'm pretty sure I got that wrong. Right, cool, off we go. A statue of an old man wearing modern clothing. It must be Al, but how is that possible? Yeah, he's Al. Okay, we have health. There was apparently an inscribed stone tablet.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse. She'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right, and I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
So I described this. So I've got myself a Discord and a Twitter and a Facebook, and I put out like a not one of these, but something similar. It says I'm playing the game and a description, and I was like, I think it's a kind of Roman Groundhog Day murder mystery thing. And then I was about to say, why hasn't anyone made any sort of Groundhog Day style games? Ignoring I'm in one, and of course Outer Wilds is literally that. But young Roman woman in a state of panic. It's very strange that there was like stats. I believe there is presumably some combat because it said something about guns or something. Ooh. A man on his knees as if begging for the gods for mercy, yes. Well, the voice wants me to go in there. Ones of a human who died, whoever it was, died a long, long time ago. They're not made out of gold though, are they? A photo mode and a quest journal. It's quite bright. To see the objective markers for a given quest, click the eye icon beside it. I've travelled thousands of years into the past. I need to find a way back to my original timeline. Somehow. Figure out how to return to your original timeline. Perhaps whoever brought me here can send me back. Roman relief depicting a great circular portal and two women. Wonder who they could be. No bones here anymore. I guess I should talk. Look, yeah.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
Oh, you're hilarious, Galerius. We'll play it stupid. Shrine of Proserpina?
Yeah, you know, agricultural goddess of springtime? You're not from around here, are you? Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you? And what were you doing in the shrine?
Wait, you speaking English?
What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange. And you've just done it again. You're a sly one, aren't you? One more time. Who are you and what were you doing in that shrine?
Oh, I'm Proximus and I've just come from the future.
No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here.
Seriously, what's today's date?
We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March?
Yeah, but what year?
It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the Empire are you from, exactly?
I'm from Cornwall. Rome never got here. Kel. So it's 65 CE.
CE? No idea what you're talking about. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple.
What's CE? Hang on.
Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
I know, obviously, we don't use BC AD anymore. It's BCE, before the Common Era. What's CE? Your laws?
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well,
Get her the
it's
gold!
kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
No thanks, I'm making my way.
Look, you seem like you might need a little extra help, and I'd feel a lot more comfortable if I showed you the way.
Alright, lead the way.
Follow me! When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say.
I like the
Down
follow
on your
button.
right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm.
Oh, I
You've
don't
got
have to
a
hold it
weapon,
down.
It belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Hilarious. You're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
What's this about?
I expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today.
Alright, big boy.
Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
Right, so I have heard of decimation
Whatever
before.
are you wearing? Oh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
You wanted to know what I was wearing? No way out of here.
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
When did you last see her?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
So I was going to say, yes, I've heard of decimation. Obviously, we misuse the word decimate now to mean just to destroy, but to decimate means to reduce 10%. It's like it's in a Roman word, des, B-E-C. But I was going to say something else, and I've completely forgot because I got distracted by a lady asking me what clothes I'm wearing. So I'll try and remember that. Was she seeing someone?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
Damn it, what was I thinking? Why is that?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually. and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
It's literally only like 20 people in this town, right? Is it possible her lover was involved?
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
You look surprisingly relaxed about your sister's disappearance. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like 8 months ago, I started watching a series called Cadfell. I guess potential spoiler warnings for future Muddle Mystery games. There is a game by the people that made Outer Wilds. Sorry, a game by the people who made Outer Worlds, not Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds, about being a monk in France solving a murder mystery, I think. And I was like, that sounds literally what like Cadfell is. And it's like, and then I watched a few episodes of Cadfell, which is about a British monk solving murders, you know, getting in punch-ups and stuff like that. And it's like, how realistic is Cadfell? And I looked it up, like I found a website about a historian, and it's like, yeah, the concept of murder hadn't really been invented at that point. Because if somebody committed a crime, they would just punish everyone. And like that, you know, somebody here did it. But you'd be kept in line by the threat of everyone. So the idea of having somebody like find a murderer was already quite unrealistic. It's an interesting idea for a show. I only watched a few episodes. I wished. I think I've watched like 2 or 3. It's okay. I might as well just finish Columbo first though. But I just thought it was funny. Like there was a young couple in love. Like having sex in the monastery, and he's like the cool monk who was like, okay, but don't let the head monk know about this. And it's like, fuck off, would you let him do that? And like the plot is he used to be a soldier, and like he was a late stage monk, and he's lived in a way that they haven't. But it's like, I don't think so. I think that's modern sensibility sneaking in. And it's like, it's fine, John, it's a TV program. But yeah, I was reminded of that. You look surprisingly relaxed about your sister's disappearance.
Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy. I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
I think you know something you're not telling me, Bluff.
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and
Fuck.
never speak to me again.
Oh,
Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you out of here? Get out, you horrid barbarian!
I'll resist the urge to load my game. Because I think that's part of it.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Proximus.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning. We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community.
Oh yeah, because I'm an archaeologist.
Equitier will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
It's beautiful.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft,
nothing? Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
No. No, I don't think I have. I don't think it's physically possible.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
What counts as a sin here?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen.
Well, buddy, I just did a
And we
bluff
must
like
honor
a minute
the
ago.
peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea. What is legal is not always moral. Many of your laws and customs are considered barbaric where I'm from.
Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world.
I know that was a stupid thing to say, but
Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
don't your laws allow slavery?
Of course. What else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well.
And your people watch blood sports for entertainment?
On occasion. But our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm.
Don't women have fewer rights than men?
Of course. But with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands.
Don't you persecute Christian?
You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome last year? It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that.
I appreciate. I believe this game is quite well researched. Like, it's going to probably know more about Romans than I do. Would you practice collective punishment?
Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion.
Where I'm from, we consider those things to be abhorrent.
Well, right now, you're a long, long way from home.
No, I'm not saying I'm...
I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
What did you mean when you said, Proserpina sent me?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life
Proserpina?
and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
Yeah, I do. You're right, I'm from 2,000 years in the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
All been turned into golden statues.
I have imagined it, our downfall 1,000 times, but it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
I won't lie, I like... oh, there's a tip. These questions will be available later. Like, it's hard to be smug about the Romans when like, he's just told me that magic is real. How does the ritual work?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Were you all bones? I did see human remains in the temple.
I assumed that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
Do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
What was I going to say? Why can't you investigate?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
I did that already to one person. Do you have any suspects?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is?
Yeah, I know, I get it, yes, yeah, sure.
What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
But I know you're not the person responsible.
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you, I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people?
Fair enough.
I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
I will say, in hacky movies, the betrayer is always the leader, because the leader is above suspicion. And, like, the game needs to go, just no, it's not this guy, all right? It just isn't this guy. Obviously you can blame bloody Agatha Christie for that one, but who has made literally every single archetype the murderer at some point, including the detective and literally everyone. Do you think it could be related to Scintilla's disappearance?
Ah, so you know about that already. It's a devastating loss, of course, but that was over 3 weeks ago, and whatever happened to her, it didn't break the golden rule, so I don't think it's connected with our imminent demise. Still, if you happen to find her and return her to me, I would be eternally grateful.
Come on, tell me what you really think.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
If I do this, will you help me get me back to my own time?
If I understand Prosperna's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
I say, do Romans know the word paradox? And I'm guessing, I'm sensing that's probably a weak idea. Sure, why not? I'm not sure though. I don't think of the old, like the grandfather paradox, like who invented all that shit. I think that's all the questions I had.
Good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule?
Alright, I'm in.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
Okay, get started.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
See what I can do. Lucretia is the name I've heard of, specifically from Final Fantasy VII. But more specifically, there's a famous painting which she gets a namesake from. Okay, so Fate Time Paradox. Sure. Cynthia seems like a stupid thing to say, but do it again. Guessing stealing is bad. Interesting concept. Right, I'm sorry about earlier. Oh no, you're not the same person.
Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you out of here? Get out, you horrid barbarian! Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you?
I'll win her over soon. These carrots are purple as they were modern orange carrots were before modern orange carrots were cultivated. A part of me thinks I should like restart and like not fuck up her, but like we'll let the mistake stand. You told me to step through. No doubt unpleasant cooking with such poor ventilation, but I mean, fucking tell me about it. Romans probably regard that as their servants' problems. Small vial containing rudimentary perfume made from flowers and oil. A sculpture of Ares, the Greek god of war, known to the Romans as Mars. Brass jar containing some sort of powder for makeup. Here's eternal. Today my father suggested to write a diary, way of keeping myself occupied while we deal with the sudden and devastating disappearance of my sister. Dutiful daughter, I will, of course, shall oblige. Following pages contain my innermost secrets. I know you're reading this, father. Maybe young, but do not think me stupid. Entitled to our secrets. It's quite funny. I'm not just gonna write everything down. I'm sorry.
Do I need to ask her, Rafe?
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Can't talk to her.
What now?
What's your story?
I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
I imagine all the Italica sort of stand like that. How did you end up here?
I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing alright for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl. And pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some genetricum fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Fuck is the thing you mentioned. I'm sorry to hear that.
Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind as labour does the body. That said, Scintilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit.
What can you tell me about the magistrate?
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
No way out of here.
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested.
Sound like a big fan. Can I see the citizen register?
I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
Register of each person in the city in alphabetical order. Aurelia seems to know a way out. Tavern and Slum, Tavern Keeper, okay. Claudia, petition. Wife of Malleus, Villa. Decius, common merchant. Forum. How do I... Okay. Oh yeah, because it's a scroll. Yeah. Domitus, Manus guard. Julius, unable to work, imprisoned in warehouse. Whittier, patrician. Vestal priestess. Fabia is baker. Galerius, farmer, we met him on the way in. Gorgeous Georgius, merchant. In the forum. Hannibal. Died in cistern. Horatius, that's who I'm talking to now. Kabash. Foreigner. Julia the Petition. Livia, used to work. Lucia, the nurse. The foreigner. Alias, Petition. In ending. Navia. She locked in herself in the palace. Octavia. Petition. Ventia, whatever, safety. Uses to talk to me. Rufius is increasingly agitated by people just keeping going Rufio. But yeah, it's very agitating. Centilla, missing. Ventius. Yes. Virgil. Architect. Tip. Thanks.
Of course.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Well, as I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like 100-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it.
Where I'm from, that would be considered a collect. By the way, I assume I get to play this more than once. Like if I die, I start again. So I'm going to use this opportunity to say things that I think would be strategically stupid but honest. Then I can see that and then not say it any other time. Where I'm from, that would be considered collective punishment, which is a war crime.
A war crime? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent.
The world's very different.
Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous.
I mean, we still...
What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the Golden Rule, I don't have any control over it. So railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing.
Yes, it sounds like somebody, you know, living in an era of very limited social mobility. I mean, it's sort of true now as well, but... What about something else?
If you like.
Who are you going to vote for?
Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator, so people fear and respect him more than they should.
I mean...
Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change.
I mean, that tells me that you can do those 3 things without breaking the Golden Rule. Can I help?
I appreciate the thought. But you're new here, and I just can't see how you could make an impact in the time between now and the election this afternoon. In any case, if you're interested in the election, go and have a chat with Equitia, the Vestal Priestess. She'll be overseeing proceedings.
I'll be going now.
All right?
We have a map. Hey, I found the button that does things. I want to amuse myself with not being able to see what the fuck I'm doing.
Are they?
Yes, Maria.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation?
What's your story?
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
I'm assuming the Decurion is like a centurion, but instead of a century, it's a, instead of 100 people, it's 10 people.
It's a cavalry officer.
30.
I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform.
I assume it started with 10, and they increased it. Why are you still wearing it?
As magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent.
Enough. How did you end up here?
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now, the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
When did you become a magistrate?
I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead.
Let's talk about something else.
Very well.
I didn't ask you some questions about... Oh, I'll do... You know a way out of here?
If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I've had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. Give the gods what they want and we all prosper. Dishonor them and we all die. It's as simple as that. The real enemy in this place is not the Golden Rule, but human failings. The temptation to slide into degeneracy, greed, and hubris. I trust that answers your question.
I was hoping to ask you some questions about the investigation.
Ask then. Good. Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss? Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
are you two talking about?
Sorry, Juan.
Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
What's it worth to you?
A spit of a fauna career. We've lined up all the votes we need already. Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
I don't care about the election.
Good. Then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election.
Fine. Mind it if I ask some questions?
Can't hurt.
What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me.
Like to meet Malleolus.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
Afford what?
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Is soliciting bribes a sin?
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
Oh, but is that a sin? Right, what do you want?
Dunno. Something good.
Let's see what I can do.
Just make it good.
No way out of here.
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah, this place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I think it's gone on long enough. And Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
How? How's he going to do it?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Sounds great. Can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
Who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
I'll be going now.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
What have the Romans ever done for us? Sentius and Malleolus, same excrement, different smell. Right, I want to go back to the beginning. I can hear you. I think it's this way. I'm producing fresh water, but where does it come from? Sure, I've gone the right.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
What's your story?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
How'd you end up here?
Same way as everyone else.
Big crowd chased you in. Why are you still wearing your legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Why don't you have a weapon?
The magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Not much of a talker, are you?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
What are you dealing with? There you go.
None of your business. In Troiti ipsum commensura. If we have to.
No way out of here.
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation?
What do you think about the golden rule?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
I know the feeling. I've lived through a pandemic.
Then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. While we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready.
Oh no, I've got a
for what's
cough.
coming. Whatever that is.
Sorry about
And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
that. I guess I've never had the pandemic been brought up in a computer game before. What do you think is coming?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
I think you're right.
Of course I am.
Who are you going to vote for?
Meliodas. Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
Let's talk about something else.
Fine.
Might come back to that.
Whatever.
I don't want to change the election before I have reason to. But it does seem like an avenue I can explore. Remember, I can run. I imagine he was happy. Why not?
Isn't this temple imposing? Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
I'm fine.
Ah, another stoic, perhaps. We all need something to help us through times like these. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned.
What's your story?
Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose.
How did you end up here?
Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome, 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place.
Why'd you hear that?
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me.
Which one? Yeah. Don't you mean God's?
Oh yes, of course. A slip of the tongue.
Oh, you're a secret Christian. Let's talk about something else.
If you like.
Do you know a way out of it?
I'm afraid not. Although, I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumours, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then I suppose we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate.
Thanks, I'll look into it.
I hope it works out.
What do you think about the golden rule?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin.
You really are
And
a secret
that's where I
Christian,
get
aren't you?
stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin?
I don't think so. I think people are fundamentally good.
You don't think that's a little naive? I suppose you've never seen what I've seen. Innocent men and women, torn apart in arenas while thousands of Romans look on and cheer.
I stand by what?
I wish I shared your faith.
So you're a Christian?
Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here, but things are very difficult for us right now. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible.
Secret safe with me.
Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
I'll be going now.
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him.
Do you really think suicide would break the golden rule?
I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off.
Good luck with that. Yeah, of course I'll talk to him.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
I mean, the very first thing I would do is tackle him, is literally pull him off the edge. My bluff. Ulpius, can we talk?
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire.
I'm not from the Empire. I think you have the right to die if you're suffering badly enough.
You're not going to trick me. I'm no coward. I intend to go through with it.
I think there are reasons to stay alive.
Like what? I'm stuck slaving away for that culus cumulatis for the rest of my life. What do I have to live for?
Maybe we can be friends.
You're just saying that to buy time. You must think I'm an idiot. I'm out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I can't believe he went through with it. Oh Lord. That poor lamb.
It clearly wasn't my fault, but and by the character, it's not that character's fault that that guy committed suicide. But I do appreciate how one might think it was in the moment. His suicide didn't break the golden rule. I will do that because it sounds callous if I do. Not my fault.
That was not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived.
Suicide didn't break the golden rule. What does that mean?
Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the golden rule. So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for it. It isn't mine.
Oh no, I suppose not. What happens now?
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Yeah, how does Christianity work when magic is real? Okay, well, that guy. It's not that guy then. With what? That's Malleolus' villa down there, right? Looking myself in, don't try and follow me, nothing good will come of it. Navia. I found some stuff. Communal public toilets. These holes must be designed for the use with sponge on a stick. Gross.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances.
What's your story?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Tell me about the city's history.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
It's all Greek to me. Isn't it common for Romans to copy Greek art and architecture?
Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Sorry, Cafe Claire, I didn't see you say that question. Tell me about the city's architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
Yeah, I assumed because she's Christian, but like, there's a literal other god. I don't know how Christianity works in Roman times, but like, I assumed having like direct contradiction, like having literal golden statues, I feel like would give you pause about like your beliefs. They bring water into the city, maybe we could use them to escape.
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
I don't want to ever feel. Tell me about the temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know. Of course.
No way out here.
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'd tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the Golden Rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
What do you mean?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things That just seems so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care, which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't, and I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
I think so, yes, but we might not agree.
Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option.
How do you remove a god from power?
Good question. It's best if I say no more, but I hope you'll give it some thought.
Alright, I won't lie. I think this puts Virgil at the top of the list of suspects for somebody who's going to break the golden rule. I noticed the graffiti. What does it mean?
Oh, it means someone thinks I'm a sinner, and that I'm going to break the golden rule.
Fair enough, I did think. Why does someone think that?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
I see.
And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagos, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Who's writing the graffiti?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one God, and that he considers my nature as sin.
Oh, the Christians,
Can
yes.
you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Let me look into that.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
I'll see what I can do. Who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
I didn't have a choice.
Nice to talk to you.
But to say that, I actually didn't see... Virgil, I know who you are and what you want to turn away from this path. We all suffer for your sins. You really want to be responsible for the sin that destroys us all. I mean, he was also talking about, like, usurping God. Which, so like he might not be accusing him for the thing he thinks they're accusing him for.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
You'd never believe me if I told you.
And now you have me more intrigued than before. But since it appears you do not wish to share, I will wait until we are better friends. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Yeah, I imagine as a tailor, you'd be like, what the fuck are you wearing? I must know all your secrets. I did a tailor shop. Why set up a tailor shop here?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Yes, more or less.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
I do have to finish normality as well. I suppose so.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
Just like Zorro. How did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares. And drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it.
Oh, so you just fell into the river.
Now,
drunk.
I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
Floated right on the Tiber.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Would Romans have the concept of extra weight? Feels like a fairly modern thing. Talk about something else.
Anything you like.
No way out of here.
Shh! Not so loud! What are you playing at?
Sorry, did I say the wrong thing?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
Last attempt?
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. It is a long story.
It's not as if I'm going anywhere.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
Why hasn't anyone done that yet?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place, and so I say it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
So that's a sin. Got it, thanks. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
What can we do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Yeah, that's interesting. I keep hearing variations of that. So there's a Roman, a Greek, and a Christian version. Do unto others as they would do unto you.
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in there.
Sounds simple enough.
Doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Yes, what's that called? Come on, John, there's an entire Japanese game series about it, Zero Escape. Prisoner's Dilemma. There's like, you're logically speaking, just being nice is the best way for everyone to get through it. There's always the temptation to be selfish. I know, I've seen it happen.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
I suppose they do. Who are you going to vote for?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Got something else?
But of course.
Any idea who's threatening Virgil?
This is troubling, is it not? I'm afraid I have no idea. It is ridiculous though. Virgil is a fine man. But my young friend Fabia confided in me that she saw someone leaving graffiti on his shop front last night. Perhaps you should ask her about it.
We'll be going.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Who's talking? I heard someone else a second ago. Oh, he literally does dress him up. I mean, I suppose there's no reason.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Julia. She was a good woman.
I was hoping to chat. Should I come back later?
No, now's fine. I can't afford to wallow here. And I need the distraction. What's on your mind?
What happened?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
There's something I can do to help.
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do.
Find out who did
Get
it.
me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that genetricum fututo and scratching his eyes out.
See what I can do. What's your story?
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
How did you end up here?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
Sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it.
Why were you working out of a shrine?
Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Tell me more about Nevia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician. But she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. "This changes everything," she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred
Yes,
the
I've seen
door
her,
from
yes.
the inside.
I've seen it.
And nobody's
Palace.
seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients.
Stuff started happening. Obviously, evidently we're on a timer, but obviously I want to like that for that to be streamed. So I'm gonna have to load a game and do a bunch of stuff again. And 209. That's really annoying, and it's completely my fault. I should have realised that I wasn't paused, but that's just unfortunate. That's okay. Ooh, there's a missing piece. Seems somebody removed a plaque from here. I'll have to find it to decipher the meaning of the obelisk. Alright, it's the Great Temple. Oh shit, that's fire. We're gonna have to find all the people I've spoken to and re-speak to them. Now, the game literally recommended I don't load my game, but the only reason that I'm doing this is just because I want to. I want to actually have the moment things go strange actually streamed. I think I came this way. We can go through the conversations quickly. Obviously, I can skip through all the dialogue, and I'll probably cut a lot of this out, which is why I'm keeping the snail on the screen. It's just really unfortunate timing. But yeah, what I get for not saving as often as I should. To survive, we must be kind. Corrected to, we must all be wise. Corrected to, we must be obedient. Finally corrected to, we must be all be question mark. Okay. If I can do this quick enough, I'll keep this all in. Especially if I keep finding new things along the way. But, I'll keep this now on the screen. The police had an orgy with 4 girls here and disappointed them all equally. Yeah, an orgy in the toilet to be fucking gross.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
It says sinner. Women fire shovel made of bronze. It smells like ash. Okay, cool. We found one of the conversations.
Ah, a new face. Salve, you arrived. Well, help out, but... Oh, but... Oh, it... Who if... Glad that... And the... Hey, I'm not... You mean given the... Unfor... You see, there's an end of course, so we're unless... Of course. You wouldn't build there are but once. Oh, I just mean I go say some I mean which me and I'm good. The fact good question. It's best. Look. And when you grow I saw so I but that can't needless to smile open. Nice in any or at least the I've if strange if the all I I'm glad someone, but if you... Well... Nice to talk.
Right, one down. F5.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings. I'm George, and I'm leather. I have and now we will. You mean? I say. Oh, if we, a good. And with now this when I regain. In any I went. Anything. Shh. Oh. And but see. They have their they so it's have when is it so if we are of it for it sad but for that my friend I do but this is trap but my I hope that our
Okay, wow, that means it took me half an hour to go through those two conversations. Cool. I'll save my game here. I've still got to make myself a cup of tea, so I will be right back, but this time I'll actually pause it rather than be in a conversation where time obviously still moves.
Give me a moment. No. She was poisoned. And I knew Dacius had that little bit then anywhere. So enough. Well, I don't ice. I'm Lucretia, and I'm tired. My husband, I would, so as I could bear the next. It's alright, and well. Oh, this shrine was kind of, but. Well, she used to run the clinic until the last, and then she's been, but one of.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
Gladly. I'm Lucretia. I'm Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain.
Ooh.
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
See what I can do.
Thanks, I suppose.
Do you know a way out of here?
I wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
Oh, it's the NHS. What do you think about the golden rule?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
You keep hearing the statues whispering. Is that normal?
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad.
Tell me more about it. Yeah.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about
We've
the
heard this already,
golden
haven't we?
statues. This changes everything. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, and then she shut herself. She's been gone so long now, but I really wish I could reach her. One of my patients, he's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off, and I just know. Thanks.
We talk about Ulia.
Sure. What do you want to know?
You think she was poisoned or was it self-inflicted?
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Hello, well-spoken man. How are you? You know what poisoned her?
Hemlock, I believe.
Is there any reason why she might have wanted to die?
I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolus' villa, and they are quite secretive.
Let's talk about something else.
Gladly.
I'll be going now.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
Well, I should say thank you for the subscription. He has medical tools, collection of barbaric-looking medical implements, including forceps and shears. I mean, sure, but they still look barbaric nowadays. Mortar and pestle. Haven't changed much in the last 2 millennia. Wooden rack containing various dried ground substances.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Greetings and salutations.
Like he actually does use them as model. They keep whispering to me. Okay, thanks, statues. This person I shall talk to. Who are you?
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
You didn't have a sign or anything. Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll
Yeah.
be a refreshing change.
How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river. Conscious. Sent me. Oh, Karen! Just figured out why she's called Karen. Dragged me out of the river unconscious and sent me down in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
Well, not until now, no. doesn't carry negative connotations. The meme is stupid. I think I can see where this is going.
You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember, and see if you notice any...
Yeah, the river Styx, I get it. You're being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
I may have already noticed a pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mentioned a river. I don't remember them mentioning the stranger, only the river.
Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
We in the good place. Some people mentioned memory lapses.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. What else?
I will say, them invoking the Karen meme was quite a clever way for me not to immediately think of the other Karen, because I legitimately did not put two and two together until she was like, "Oh, Karen, eh?" And I was, oh, what am I doing? Some people mentioned an encounter with a stranger on the riverbank. I actually don't remember anyone saying that for sure.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier.
Just don't steal from Karen.
A woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
That's right.
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
She was wearing a hoodie? How could you have known that?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Right, I'll meet you in the baths.
Don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
I just happened to be walking this way.
When no longer in danger.
Ooh.
Help!
Oh, is this what lost me in the game last time?
A man arrived in the baths. Real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's going to break the golden rule.
How is this my problem? I'll see what I can do. Why would I not do that immediately?
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere.
So unfortunately...
Hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
I don't know why she shouldn't go in there. What's the empty shrine? Yeah, actually, that would be... I've never considered them remaking the old games. That would be quite good. Maybe we shouldn't meet in there.
What? We don't have time for this. I have to go.
Never mind, I don't know why I said that.
The shrine is collapsing.
Oh. Maybe I should have had that longer conversation. Yes, Rambler, I got a message on my phone which prompted me to pause the game and make a cup of tea, but I hadn't paused it. I was just in a conversation because I did not realise there was a timer in this game. So halfway through making a cup of tea, I suddenly hear a commotion. So I've loaded, and the game doesn't recommend you load, but I wanted to actually experience the thing actually in game and not during fucking pause screen. That was my fault for not pausing properly.
right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
I don't know, Quintius.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood?
I swear I wasn't lying.
You are not off to a good start. When I ask you a question, I expect an answer. Is that understood?
You're being unreasonable.
I would choose my next words more carefully if I were you. Is that understood?
He is definitely going to shoot me, isn't he? Got it.
Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place?
We're just a small community of strangers who wound up here by accident.
A small community. I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
Wait, what's a mystery cult?
Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius did, those days are numbered.
Got the wrong idea, we're not cultists.
You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret?
I'm still looking for a way out. We're not keeping a secret, we're all trapped in here.
So you admit you're not allowed to leave?
It's not that we're not allowed to leave, we physically can't leave, there's no way out.
Threatening me is not going to help you, but in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me.
I mean, he's not wrong
and
there,
I saw
but...
the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe?
Not a mantra, it's a warning.
A distinction without a difference. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense.
I mean, I guess I haven't actually seen any proof yet.
Where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues?
There were once people who turned to gold as punishment.
You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me.
You're distorting what I said.
Yes, because I'm the real villain here. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become.
This is neat, by the way.
However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quinctius is. Do not waste it.
What can you tell me about Quintius?
Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process.
Perhaps the Emperor was looking for a scapegoat.
Who are you to challenge what the Emperor says? Were you there? Do you have spies and scouts all over Rome like he does? No, you do not. This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
I have no idea who or where he is.
Then you're of no use to me. Do you have any last words?
I enjoy that I can invoke Christianity. You said you wouldn't kill me if I told you the truth. That one's cooler, I won't lie. You?
As a matter of fact, I do. Once I'm done with you and Quintius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Yeah, I do. Ah, fuck. Ah. Guy's on a wheel. I'm not sure how to get to Sentius. Fuck. Never mind. If the golden rule isn't the end, it is possible to survive if you follow the magistrate.